Nice, man.
Great.
Don't you love editing?
I'm so tired and sweaty. Can't you tell?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing.
So for my viewers who don't know anything about Armored Saint, can you tell us a little brief history about the band? Started in the 80s.
It's tough to...
What is this? We're at the Avalon all the time. People walk in front of the cameras, dude.
You know, that's how we roll around here. It's all very casual. A lot of my friends came up from LA. We're a band that's from Los Angeles. We were formed in 1982. And we have a long history. We had a couple of records with Chrysalis Records back in the early 80s. And we've been through various ups and downs. We've been on lots of tours, club tours. We played giant arenas. We've done a lot of different things, played with a lot of different big bands, small bands, and so forth. What is this? This is like a parking lot here.
Welcome to Northern California.
It's like a flea market if people are shopping.
Exactly.
But the band has been together since '82. We've been together a long time. We have 6 records, full-length records, and various other EPs and things like that. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. There's a lot of details that I left
in
out.
between.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it.
And it's really hard for a lot of people to start a band. They think, oh, we'll get together. Oh, but you can't come and play on Mondays, or your schedule conflicts, or, people don't get along sometimes.
Yeah.
But you guys are still going at it. You guys took a couple breaks, and you're still going. And is it because of all them fans that you keep going, or is it the relationship within the band?
It's both of those things. I mean, we've been childhood friends. We've all known each other since the 3rd grade. Gonzo, the drummer, and John Bush, and myself have known each other since the 3rd grade. We've been friends since grammar school. So we have a very, very long history, and that keeps a lot of things tight as you just go through life. Fortunately, we've all maintained this friendship and that kind of thing. So part of it's that. The other thing is that we have a lot of through our short career, which is the majority of the career was kind of short. It was about 10 years, but during that time we amassed as kind of a really loyal cult following, and during that time, a lot of the fans they became very loyal. For all intents and purposes, this band has not really been a band since 1982 when John Bush left to join Anthrax, and we kind of had a hiatus of 10 years. We got back together since then to do a couple of records, but nothing really major.
And it was kind of hard for all of you guys to get together and just produce one single record. It was just hard to keep going, right?
Well, my point I was getting to was that we've kind of got to this point where we are not really a regular working band. We don't have, band practice every week, and we don't make a record every year, and we don't go on tour every year. Our last record came out 10 years ago, and before that it was 10 years before that. So we're fortunate enough that we have a loyal following that we got during the 80s that they enable us to be able to do a one-off show in San Jose, for instance, and people will come out to see us play, and I feel very fortunate that that's the case. Not everybody can say that, so that's a really cool thing that we are able to work in this manner.
Yeah, and you've been fortunate to have a band that's been touring all over the country, all over the world. And what has been your favorite place to play? Is it your local hometown shows, or is it away?
Well, playing hometown is always something special. We just played House of Blues in LA in May, and it was it's a very warm feeling playing your hometown, and it was loads of people, and the vibe is always just amazing when we play hometown. On the same hand, we have gone to places very far from here, such as Greece, for instance, or Italy or somewhere like that, or Germany, and the fans they're extremely diehard, and they don't get that much music there, and when you show up, they are just so appreciative. So it's a different kind of love, but it's it's great altogether. It's really cool.
Can you deliver? I'm all looking at you, laying out the question. pull through.
Now, there's a lot of history out there that's talking about the band Metallica. I mean, when they were looking for a new bassist, you know, they contacted you, right? You were one of the first people they contacted, or is that true?
Well, the truth is that they were, after Cliff passed away, they were holding auditions, and they were basically had everybody and their brother was coming into audition, and it was, you know, for obvious reasons, it was very difficult for them to go through this, let alone what they had already gone through, losing one of their best friends. But to try and, you know, fill the shoes of that person was wrenching. It was just gut wrenching. So they were very miserable at that point. They decided that they were going to call people that they knew personally, just call them up and say, hey, this is really not happening with us right now. We want to jam with people that we know and like.
Yeah.
So I was one of the people they called. Lars called me and said, hey, you know, no promises or nothing, just come up and we want to, you know, see what happens.
Yeah.
And at that time, Armored Saint was in the middle of recording Raising Fear, our third record with Chrysalis. And it was not an appropriate or a good time for me to just, like, out of the blue, like, decide, oh, well, I'm going to quit and have my intention go and join Metallica.
Right.
So it was a very hard decision that I had to make, but I said, I believe me, I thought about it for a couple of days, but I finally said, you know, man, I can't. I'm not in this position to leave my buds from school, my buddies from school. You know, I have to see this through, especially this record. We're in the middle of making a record, so I declined going up. I would be wasting everybody's time if I did that. So I had declined to do it.
Yeah. Got to do what you want to do, not what everyone else wants to do.
Yeah, you know, it was, look, and people ask me about this all the time, and their next obvious question is, do you regret it? And of course, my answer is, of course not, because, you know, I've had an amazing life since then. I've had amazing experiences. I've done a lot of great things that have been satisfying for me musically and personally. I have a new family. None of these things I wouldn't have any of this if had I made a different decision.
Yeah.
So of course not. I don't regret a second of it.
No regrets in life, people. Not at all. Good. So Armored Saint, and then March, you guys released La Raza, your latest record. And, you know, seeing how back in the day, recording on tape, recording on vinyl, and now it's all digital, you know, you can go back in there and just take that little piece. You don't have to redo the whole song. And, I mean, what's the recording process? Because a lot of people don't understand that nowadays.
Well, I mean, nowadays, there's a lot of different ways to make records nowadays. You can actually make a record in your bedroom with what's available to the consumer now. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. But what we did this time, and this is only something that we've done, this is a little bit different for the way that we did it, but we basically, we recorded everything from the beginning with all analog equipment going into Pro Tools, which is the computer, of course. We went into the computer, but before we did it, we went all analog going into it. And then we did, after in the mix, we came out of that back into another analog, you know, SSL console and all the analog outboard gear. And from there, I went to a 1-inch tape machine, which is, most people don't do that anymore. So we mixed to, it was actually analog. So this record saw a lot of analog, and then it saw tape at the very end. So this record was like, I would say you could count on it being sort of 75% analog and maybe 25% digital. But we felt like it was a cool thing to do. We had the opportunity, one, to do it with our engineer, Brian Karlstrom, allowed us this opportunity. But the other thing was that this music that we were writing, we felt like would benefit from having gone through the media in this way, so that, you know, our music is very much based in blues rock, what we grew up listening to, music from the mid-'70s and late 70s. And so in honor of that, it's sort of a tip the hat. What better way to do it than to use a lot of methods that were used back then to record. Right. So we felt like it was actually enhancing the music and enhancing all the final product. So
yeah. So as I mentioned before, you guys are still going strong. You guys are still touring currently. And how's the tour been going so far this round?
Well, we're not really haven't done any touring really. This is our second show for this record actually, but we, you know, again, we have to sort of find the right time and places and everybody's schedule and right situation and that kind of a thing. But we're trying to put together some stuff. Believe it or not, it seems like a far away, but next summer, touring season and next summer's European festivals it's a big deal to go there. So we missed it this time, so we're actually putting together some stuff for next year. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So people can go ahead and go to armoredsaint.com, check out some upcoming shows if you guys missed it this time. And great to see you back here in Northern California.
Thank you very much. We love it up here. It's such a vibe. It's our second home, basically, and Bay Area rules.
Yes. Armored Saint, Joey Vera, the bassist here on the Vinnie Langdon Show. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right. Guys, rock on. We'll see you guys in a little bit.